Yo, neighbors, Baldy Locks reviews. What's going on, guys? We have we're gonna dive right into it because we had an unexpected reveal today on IGN, and I think Bobby B's Battlegrounds was one of the first to drop it. I think I was about 30 seconds behind him, and then we do have a special guest to help us out tonight, but let's bring in this is our community, I guess, resident plastic expert, right? And you're muted. Let me unmute you.
My bad. I was enjoying all the internet sounds for the nostalgia, but yeah, that's what I've been called. So that's what I'm here
for. Yeah, so you're our resident plastic expert, Hasbro certified.
Yeah, technically, I guess prior employees, so it still counts.
All right, that's cool. And then just like you might be one of the guys who can tell most of the community which gun we're looking at, right?
For the most part.
We're bringing in my buddy Derek here. So Derek is a musician, and I thought, what better expert to bring in than a musician to kind of help us go over these different instruments that come with our cold Slither. What's going on, Derek?
What's going on, man? Good to
Derek,
see you.
Where might people know you from?
I play drums in a band called One King Down.
All right.
I've also played drums in a band called The Promise, and I play drums in a band called Born Low.
All right, so after this stream, you gave me a couple Spotify playlists that I can share.
I think they're just links to the band pages. So,
all right, yeah, that's cool. So, anybody that's interested in listening to Derek's music, or some of the bands he's been a part of, I'll add it to the description once this goes into replay mode, and you guys can check them out. Let's before we get into this, let's look at some of these comments here because we already got a few people hanging out. We're probably going to get tens and tens of views on this tonight. We got Toy Optics. I'm here wearing my Mandex and Guy Liner. Tony's Figs. A Toy Kind of Mood. Baldy Fucks. We got Tristan T. Greetings all. Shark Eyes. Shark Eyes couldn't be here tonight.
It's his birthday.
Today's his birthday?
In America currently, yes.
Oh. Adam, we almost share a birthday. Mine was yesterday. I heard this is where I buy tickets to catch the ferry to Viper Island. My God, that dude.
There was a guy that looked exactly like you blurred out in those videos, just so you know, Baldy.
Yeah.
I didn't even know the dude still existed until yesterday.
You and me both. Everyone's like, "Did you see what he said?" I'm like, "Who? Oh yeah, I forgot about him."
Dude's been out of my mind. So did you catch any of that, Derek?
I did. You guys were all blurred out. Every single one of you.
But how random. Like it came out of nowhere. I watched it and then I was like, you know what? I think I'm all right with going back to my life and going on with my life. And then we got the cold Slither reveal this morning. So dude's a lonely guy.
I'm making a video right now.
Yep. He's making videos by himself, doing some really nice production, but we're hanging out with friends, so it's all good. Let's see. We got Blitz, Baldy, and B, and Derek too. We got a punk with toys. I'm not familiar with this guy. Probably first time viewer. Must have missed my invite. Let's see. few different people. What's going on, Len? Bees, Battlegrounds. Oh, that's you.
Yep.
All right, so KJ's here. Shark Eye's still here. KJ's still here. Blitz still here. All right, so what did you guys think this morning when were you expecting that? This cold Slither reveal?
I was not.
Bobby, you were like one of the first to break it.
I was skipping through Instagram stories and BMax popped up and I saw it and oh, that looks, just like a typical quick generated render. I wasn't thinking we were actually getting the actual cold Slither, and I skipped past. I'm like, wait a second, that was from BMax post. So I went back to it and I the link for the IGN and everything was there, and I was like, oh dang. And then I just started trying to send it to everybody I knew that would try to promote it out there. So
okay. Yeah. It was wild. Derek, how'd you come across it?
I came back into my desk and came across it on Facebook, but people started texting it to me. Mike texted it to me, of course.
Yeah.
My other friend Mike texted it to me, and two of the three people that texted me were psyched. One is a pass.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And what about you guys? Is it a pass? Grab? What?
It's a grab.
I'll grab it, but I'm not doing backflips for it. I would have rather had their bikes or something else, but it's for being a convention exclusive. We'll talk about it, but for being a convention exclusive, I think it hits the nail on the head. So
I think it's a perfect convention exclusive.
I 100% agree. This is exactly what an exclusive should be, right?
Yeah.
And since let's just dive right into it because it was just like, I don't know. I mean, first things first, it was just the nostalgia right away hit with, the hair metal bands of the 80s. Derek, you said you noticed one of these guys wasn't Motley Crue.
Yeah, Motley Crue was my entrance to heavy music. But I'm pretty sure that dude on the left is Chris Holmes from Wasp.
Okay.
Certified maniac in the hair metal lore.
Well, when I pulled this, I was like, at first I thought it was David Lee Roth because I was looking at it on my phone and I was like, nah, that's not David Lee. And then I think you're right. It's probably Holmes. But here's your standard band, right? When you think of hair metal bands, Bon Jovi, GNR, Def Leppard, Motley Crue.
Oh yeah, Rat.
Rat. Yeah, I was looking for Rat. I was looking for Cinderella. GNR always comes right up. So they're like the go-to, right? But this was the big reveal right here.
GNR for me was like the end of hair metal.
The end of hair metal?
Yeah. They kind of squashed it for me because they were just like straight rock. Yeah,
they were, because they were more like, they had the bluesy sound. They had all different sounds kind of mixed in.
Dirty, like street scum dudes, just, a little bit of glam in there, but mostly just street metal, rock and roll.
Just thinking of all this, I was like, all right, what else goes with Cold Slither? What else goes with hair metal bands? But I asked you guys to give me your top 3 concerts, right? So I think before we really break into this, I also reached out to Lenny and Tony from the G.I. Joe Classified team. And
oh, nice.
Although they couldn't join us last minute, they did give me their top 3 concerts. So,
why would they talk to you? You don't have 20,000+ subscribers.
I don't know, because the restraining order is only in effect in certain states. But they were cool enough. They were cool enough to respond to me. My parole officer told me to stop, but whatever. Let's see. Let's go. You guys want to talk the concerts first or go right into Cold Slither?
Let's hit the concerts.
Yeah.
The concerts.
All right. So it'll be funny when I get to a couple of the ones that we got, but guys, we're just going to go into our top 3 concerts. So if you guys want to share what your top 3 concerts or bands are, go ahead and throw them out in the chat, and I would definitely try to highlight some of the comments. But I went right into it. What's funny is, Derek, you're very much like Lenny. You gave me a lot of detail here. So we're going to start with you with concert number 3. Derek, walk me through your choice for concert number 3, and we'll go from 3, 2, 1.
All right. I think it's almost self-explanatory. I mean, it's Public Enemy, Anthrax, Primus, and Young Black Teenagers. It's like just a mix of everything that I was into at the time, you know? You got your Public Enemy is like one of my all-time favorite groups. Always loved Anthrax, another one of my favorites. I always liked Primus, and YBT was like kind of coming up at the time. So, and I had their cassette at the time. And yeah, I don't know. This was just crucial for me. And I went with my friend, and we were roaming around the backstage, not even really the backstage, but just in the hallways. And I bumped into Chuck D from Public Enemy.
Oh, that's awesome.
He signed my LA Kings hat that I had on. And that consequently got stolen out of my car in a Kmart parking lot later on. So
Blue Light Special. Derek, what was that band that they joined up? They did a band probably like around 2005, 2006.
Who's that?
It was Chuck D, Anthrax, some members of
2006. I know he briefly sang in Rage Against the Machine thing.
Yeah.
It was like Rage Against the Machine with him and Be Real from Cypress Hill.
Yeah, that's the band I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
Do you remember what they were called?
I forget what they called it, but
they came through Camden once, and I saw them the one night. It was an incredible show. They all did different covers of their music. It was really fun, but I can't for the life of me think the name of the group. If anybody knows, throw it in the chat there. Bobby, you gave us all of Warped Tour. Anything specific?
Not off the top of my head. They all kind of blur together. They're always fun to attend, and you go with all your friends, and then someone doesn't drink enough water, and next thing you know, you're dragging them to the medic tent, and they're getting IVs and all that jazz. So just always, I don't think I ever had a bad time at a Warped Tour. So,
can you remember a band that kind of stood out for you?
When I was younger, I was super into Real Big Fish, the ska band.
Oh yeah,
the guy that used to date Gwen Stefani, and I remember I saw them because I used to work at a concert venue, and when I was a kid, and then I did some time there when I was going to school and everything afterwards. But I remember I was like, hey, I'm gonna take my break or whatever, and the sweet old lady named Mary, she was like in charge of like what I did and everything there, and she's like, yeah, sure, do whatever. So I remember I took my work shirt off. I had this tie-dye like cut off on. I sprinted down there. It was just awesome. So and that was probably like the first concert I remember attending that like wasn't with supervision from my parents or my friends' parents or anything like that. So
just running around the grounds like an idiot. Were you like out in the field, grass? What?
Yeah, there was they were in the parking lot. They were in like the back parking lot. They weren't even on like the main stage or any of like the big stages. They were just on some random parking lot stage. This is the late 2000s. So
okay.
Met up all my friends, and we're just having a blast. So
you hear that, Derek? Late 2000s.
Yeah, I hear that.
Not to have an age issue here.
Oh
man, so we had a couple people jump in and say that the band I was thinking of is Prophets of Rage.
Yeah, that's actually a Public Enemy song.
Yeah, I don't know why I couldn't think of it, but
neither.
It was like one night in December they were here. This is just kind of
probably for me because the two bands apart are so phenomenal apart.
Yeah.
I didn't really care too much when they were together, but I'm sure they were awesome.
What was cool was, so I thought the same thing, but when you got to the live show, they were helping each other do each other's music. So it's not like it was just all Prophets of Rage. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was like this wild show. I mean, you guys remember, Bobby, you probably don't know this one, but Judgment Night?
Judgment Night soundtrack?
Yeah.
Come on, man. Of course.
Dude, that was a mix of all
Hazard and Onyx.
Yeah.
House of Pain. And
I know some people out there. We got Punk jumping in with Circle Jerks, Sick of It All, and Biohazard. Pennywise. Wow. I haven't thought about Pennywise.
Great list.
Yeah. That's actually an excellent list. And then Spec here, he always has a good list. He's been raging against the 9 Inch Nail machine lately. You see the prices for those shows?
No.
Yeah, it's up there. But he's definitely been raging against that. And then we had a show on A Toy Kind of Mood called Balled the Fuck Up. But okay, so those were your number threes. We had Lenny and Tony jump in and gave us their number threes. I'll just start with Tony. I know he's at the bottom there, but he's like, dude, I was never a concert guy. I've only been to a select few. So for his top three, he gave me 2.
All right.
And then Lenny was really like, he was descriptive, just like you, Derek. Like he was talking about Hellfest and specifically Lamb of God. And it was about 20 years ago. Have you seen them?
I played that show, Hellfest.
Oh, did you?
I played it, and if you look at the Hellfest or the Lamb of God video footage of that, I was filming the drummer. I was on the drum cam. So,
could you imagine Lenny's fucking bear paws in a pit just coming at you?
He's a big dude.
Me and Lenny have probably been in the same room a couple times. Like I know he's a core metal dude. So
yeah. Well, and you can see that that he put his love of music in with this Cold Slither.
Oh yeah,
set, and we'll get into that in a couple minutes. But yeah, I figured he might be a pit guy, but he seems like he'd probably be one of the big guys that's on the edge. You know what I mean? Pushing people back in. But I don't know.
You're done when I say you're done.
Oh man. Number 2. We'll go with Bees to start this time.
Again, late 2000s. It was one of the Blink 182. Hey, we're getting back together tours. I think they've done like 3 or 4 at this point in the last 15 years or so. And it was just awesome. I remember being a kid and listening to them when my brother would babysit. He'd always have their CDs playing and stuff. So then being able to see them live, actually being able to appreciate music and not just being some dumb kid was pretty awesome. So definitely like that one.
So one of the times you saw them, was it before or after Angels and Airwaves?
After, maybe.
Okay. Derek, you ever see these guys? Blink 182?
Not my cup of tea, man.
No?
I've not seen them, no.
So,
I played in a band with a dude who was all about them, though. So.
Would you say they were like too pop punk?
They're a little on the softer side, I'd say.
Yeah, I didn't really like. It's not like I hated them. Just that wasn't something I was reaching for.
I've seen them pushing the double digits. A lot of fun, like a lot of comedy, a lot of audience involvement. They would always talk to the crowd, get people up on stage, throw them off. I mean, high energy show.
Yeah, Travis Barker, he can play a drum set, that's for sure.
Yeah, the dude's a beast.
Yeah.
And then Derek, walk us through this. because you went specifically April 1995.
Yes, I did. Stigmata is a local band from here. Discovered them in like probably around. Well, actually, they were my Stigmata used to be called Cranial Abuse, and they were my first experience with hardcore ever. They're the reason why I got into this music, why I play this music. They played a battle of the bands at an elementary school in my city. Now they're from across the river, Troy, and I lived in a city called Cohoes, but they played this battle of the bands, and it was a hair metal band called Cheater, but it had cheetah eyes for the E's, you know.
Okay.
And this is the dude that would eventually wind up recording One King Down,
Oh,
all
cool.
the One King Down albums. And then there was a team of twin sisters and their brother called Malachi, and they played all covers, like, you know, I Think We're Alone Now and stuff like that, you know.
But like
then,
hard covers?
No, you know, like Tiffany, you know, like I Think We're Alone Now, you
No,
know. Like,
I know the song. I thought maybe it was like I don't know, like a hard cover of that.
no, there was like three totally opposite. Like you had the hair metal band, then these siblings, and then Cranial Abuse, which was Stigmata before they turned to Stigmata. And they had all of Troy on the bleachers behind me. And they started playing, and everybody came off the bleachers and just started beating the hell out of each other. My band teacher was in there, and his like wig got flipped off, and like me and my buddy Matt were just looking at each other, just like, what is this? Like, I need to find out what this is. And then later found out what it was, and you know, then I just kind of devoted part of my life to it. So, but Stigmata, they played obviously, and then Integrity is like, they're from Cleveland, Ohio. They're like probably these are like life-changing bands for me. So Integrity was a life-changing band for me. They were the first time that hardcore brought evil, dark lyrics into it, and just kind of changed me. And H100s, I didn't really, not too big on the H100s, but this show was pretty paramount for me. Definitely two bands that shaped me, and I ended up playing drums in Stigmata in the last few years, like maybe like 2013 to 2015.
Oh wow!
So,
and you've gotten to travel. You've gotten to travel around.
Oh yeah,
all over.
Toured the U.S. probably 6 times, and been to Europe probably four or 5. Japan twice, and when I was out of One King Down, they did Japan, New Zealand, and Australia. I missed out on that one, but maybe I'll get over there someday.
That's cool. What about you, Bobby? You play any instruments?
I played the saxophone for a year when I was like 10. So I'm confident if I picked one up, I could mess around with it a little bit and maybe read a little bit of sheet music, but not too much. So,
all right. So a sexy instrument for a sexy voice.
Hey, the saxophone's no joke, man.
Now, listen, when I remember being a kid and they were trying to find an instrument that I was good at, and I tried playing the sax, and I am a lover of music. I cannot play for shit. And I actually, in high school, I'm surprised I'm going to reveal this, but I was in a cover band as a singer.
Now we're talking.
And it was definitely interesting. It was a way some of the teachers were trying to keep me out of trouble. And it worked for like a year. But I never followed through. I was just okay. But we did win the battle of the bands at the high school. So that was cool.
There you go.
Yeah, so let's see here. For me, I'm a huge Foo Fighters fan. I know they're like dad garage rock or whatever people want to call it, but I truly think he's one of our last true rock stars.
Absolutely.
The guy shreds. If you listen to just the early Foo Fighter stuff, early 2000 stuff, so much talent there. And I would think he's like the not quite on the same level as Prince, but if Prince inspired him to do that first album right out of Nirvana, and that whole Foo Fighters album, the first one, he was trying to emulate Prince, and he played all the instruments, did all the vocals on that first Foo Fighters album.
Yep.
So that's always impressed me. Always fun to see. And most recently, I saw them at the See Here Now Festival in Asbury Park. This is probably going on 18 months ago. And Weezer was with them. It was a huge festival, a really cool venue if you guys ever get a chance to go see something at Asbury Park. Very, very cool.
He comes from the hardcore punk scene as well.
Oh, yeah. Oh, what was that?
He used to play drums and scream.
Who's the band that was out of Baltimore in the late 80s? He cites them a lot as
Fear?
I think it was Fear, but there's another band. If you guys ever watch that Sonic Sessions where they go through all the cities, they touch base with them, but I should be better prepared if I'm going to bring something up.
I know he cites Fear a lot. I'm not sure if they're from Baltimore, though.
No, it's not Fugazi.
Well, Fugazi would be from the area.
Yeah,
Fugazi
maybe it's Fugazi. Punk.
From the
I know
minor
you're
threat.
there. I know you listen to Fugazi. Tell me if I'm right. All right,
My
listen.
guitar player, One King Down, was one of the 9 people who auditioned for the Foo Fighters.
Oh, really?
And they lost their guitar player, yeah.
Oh, wow.
He said that was really intimidating.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Vigil?
What's that?
Is it Vigil, or am I just making that up?
No, it sounds like
Fugazi is
band
DC.
name.
DC, that area.
Yeah.
Might just have our location wrong. I don't know.
Yeah, I might just have it wrong. This is what Lenny and Tony gave us. So for Lenny, have you guys seen Slayer? He brings up Asbury Park because he's from the New Jersey, New York area. You guys
I
ever
have
seen
seen
Slayer?
I've not.
Yeah.
Yep. A few times.
Yeah, he says that it, again about 25 years ago, so late 90s, early 2000s. Sound blew my mind, and it was nearly perfect. I could feel my rib cage rattle to the beat of the double bass. Dude, he was so into this little project that I gave him, and he was just so like, dude, I know they were at work today. I sent this to them on my lunch break, and they both came back. Now, I mean, Tony is not as descriptive, and he just hit me with Red Hot Chili Peppers.
They put on a
That's
good
what I
show.
did for you.
Yeah. You guys ever see them, Red Hot Chili Peppers?
I have not.
So.
I've seen them 3 times, twice in the 90s, and then once, I think about 3 years ago in Philadelphia. And they were excellent all 3 times. So if you guys ever get a chance, they put on a hell of a show. And they sing a song about California.
Yes, they do.
Yeah, at least one. So this takes us, we're kind of moving right along here. And I know anybody who's here in the chat that wants to see Cold Slither, we're almost there. Number 1 concert, I don't know whose turn it is. We'll go back to Derek.
All right. Pantera at the Palace Theater. The Palace Theater in Albany is like a very classy, slanted floor with seats all the way down to the stage, balcony type of place.
Okay.
Sacred Reich was supposed to open. They ended up having to cancel, and a local band won some contest to take their spot. I felt so bad for this local band when they played because I was down maybe like probably in the 8th row, and he looked back, and there was one guy in the whole place standing up, giving the metal horns, banging his head. They played, and then they
that's
came
enough
on.
to last in your brain.
Yeah, they came on, and just it was like right when Vulgar Display of Power was like just taking over everything, and the curtain dropped, and they started with a new level, and the place fucking exploded. Like, my friend Joe, we were standing on the back of these folding chairs, and my friend Joe, there was people like crowd surfing all over the whole thing, and my friend Joe fell, his feet fell into the folding chair, and he fell back, like bent over the back. And I looked, and there was somebody coming across the pit, and I was like, shit, Joe's gonna get killed right now. So I just like reached down, grabbed my shirt, ripped him out of there. He's like, you just saved my life. Like, it was just the craziest show I've ever been to. And I think it was just at the height of like me really getting into this band.
Yeah.
And it was just insane. Like, if you watch the Pantera home videos, there's one part where he points at the seats in the front of this auditorium, and it's the Palace. He's like, first 4 rows completely gone. The seats were just flat. So I don't know. It was just a great show, and that one always sticks with me.
Bobby, have you ever been in a crowd like that?
Not to that extreme. So
definitely not at REO Speedwagon.
Certainly not at REO Speedwagon. That's for damn sure.
You can't front on REO Speedwagon though.
No, that's a good one. Bobby, do you like? What can you tell me about the show? Why is it number one?
I'll preface it with growing up, my dad would always listen to like 80s and 70s music. REO Speedwagon always stood out. So the running joke was that Kiss was his favorite band, and he'd get super pissed off. And that joke, to this day, we make that joke to him, and he still gets mad. And he loved REO Speedwagon. There you go. And I don't remember when it was. I want to say it was sometime between 2014 and 2017 because I was home on leave for something. And my sister's boyfriend, who worked at the concert venue, got him, my dad, me, and my brother all tickets to go see REO Speedwagon with my dad, just to go with them. And everything, like the minute we parked and walked in, they knew who we were. Everyone was like super awesome to us. We had like wait staff come get our drinks and stuff. And I think we were probably like 4 or 5 rows back from like the pit, which was just folded chairs. But we were in like the stationary chairs, and it was just awesome. It was a good time spending with my dad, my brother. So I always remember that. So it always sticks out to me when I'm asked about concerts and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's all.
Concerts with family are always awesome. Been to plenty of Tom Petty with my mother.
And, we were talking before the show, and I've seen Tom Petty a few times, all with friends. But it's funny you talk about family. So I have an older sister who's no longer with us, and when we were in high school, she had an extra ticket to see Guns N' Roses, and I always regret, like, I was always in trouble. So I was grounded, and my mom told me I couldn't go to the concert. So I wasn't able to go see GNR with her. Actually, Metallica opened up. Have you guys ever heard about this show in Philadelphia? It was, I think they were fighting who was going to open, but Metallica opened up. They put on a huge, loud show. This guy fell, I think, off the lights or something like that, and his arm was on fire. It was freaking, but I missed it all. It made the news, all this stuff. So years later, nobody ever thought Guns N' Roses was going to get back together. And my wife was like, look, I know that you kind of regret never going to that show. Grab a friend, go to Vegas, go see them start their tour there, because nobody thought they would last through that tour.
Yeah, right.
It's almost 10 years later, and they're still kind of touring. So I was at the first show. It was pretty amazing.
Cool.
And actually, Dave Grohl was there because a few days before, Axel had at a practice gig in LA, fell off the stage and broke his foot.
You let him borrow his throne, right?
Let him borrow his throne. And I got a great story from that night is I'm standing in line getting a beer, and there's a dude in front of me with a Saint Cecilia shirt on, and that's a Foo Fighters album. And I look and I'm like, this dude looks just like Taylor Hawkins, man. And then I see the Saint Cecilia shirt, and I'm like, that's obviously not him. No band wears their own shirt.
He's that guy.
Yeah. So talked to my buddies about it. The next morning, it was confirmed that Grohl and Hawkins were there, and there's Hawkins in the picture with the Saint Cecilia shirt on. I was like, you got to be kidding me. I was standing right there, kind of talking like a hey, to the guy in front of me, but that was about it.
Another ripping drummer.
Oh yeah, gone way too soon.
Yeah.
So I guess I'll pat myself on the back here. We got a toy kind of mood. Asking the creators of the classified Cold Slither set what their favorite concerts is a brilliant idea. Bravo, Baldy. I thought so too. And the fact that they jumped in, so here's their number one.
Yes.
You know this one?
I played I left One King Down in 1999 maybe. I played my last show with One King Down with E-Town Concrete. And then One King Down didn't play again until 2018. And our first show back was with E-Town Concrete.
Oh, get out.
Jersey. These are your people, E-Town.
You weren't joking when you said you guys crossed paths a few times.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys should message. I mean, so I asked them if there was any possibility of jumping on with us tonight, but it was just way too last minute, and they're totally down for this subject. So we can revisit this, and if we have Lenny on, if you want to come back, Derek, so you guys can kind of talk trade secrets. I think that would be fantastic. He would probably love that. And then Tony just hits me with Guar.
Great. Seen Guar like 5 or 6 times.
And I'm just like, you go from, I don't really go to concerts. Yeah, my number one was concert ever. I just thought that was amazing. But now I do appreciate, I'll take it off them for the moment, off the slides for a second. And I do appreciate Lenny and Tony jumping in with those, and for you guys doing some soul searching and jumping in with your favorite concerts. I thought that was just a lot of fun. Punk says Guar was something special back in the day. I agree with that. I saw them once.
He's not
you
lying.
Said you saw him, Derek?
Yeah, I've seen him quite a few times.
And what about you, Bobby? Is that a show you would ever consider seeing?
I haven't seen him, unfortunately. I haven't seen him.
Oh, you haven't?
No. Not saying I wouldn't, just never came up.
Well, what about Static X? That's one I haven't heard of in a long time.
Yeah, right.
Wow. He's back in Brian said back in 2000, 03, and 09. Wow. Yeah, that's what's fun about doing something like this, because there's bands that just kind of pop up that you haven't thought of in a long time. Like the Misfits. You know what I mean?
He's going for Michael Graves Misfits specifically.
Yeah, very, very specific. No, so I appreciate you guys jumping in with that topic. I thought that was a lot of fun. But let's dive right into, whoops, I almost start to bring up the hair metal bands again. But we'll go right into the topic here, which is Cold Slither. Bobby, you said you could live with it. You could live without it.
Yeah. It's a fun callback. It's great for everyone who loves the Dreadnoks, loves the old cartoon, and for the people who are like, "Oh, that's too outlandish." they can skip it.
And
So
they totally could. And Derek, you said your messages were blown up.
Yeah, I'm in on this. I'm a completionist, so you know. But I used to do the one to open, one on the shelf, but now I just leave ones that I don't want to open in the box, and if I have the box, I'm cool.
it's a lot of space.
Yeah, ton of space. But yeah, I will get this for sure.
Bobby, how you say this guy's name here?
Oh, I don't want to get everyone all fired up. So Zartan, you gotta don't say Zartan. People get really
The
upset.
discrepancy is Zartan, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I think this one's going to be hard to get. I don't know what you think. I think we're going to lower production numbers. I think this one might actually be hard to get, harder than normal.
Well, I think it's going to be the same as one, not for number wise. I think like the issue is like Once a Man, where everyone's like, I don't want Cobra Law stuff, and then everyone's like,
right,
I don't want Once a Man. So everyone's trying to get. Everyone's like, I don't want, Cold Slither stuff. And now everyone's like, I kind of want Cold Slither stuff.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's the perfect type of exclusive, right? I mean, I wasn't a Cobra Law fan. There's no denying that Once a Man figure is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Like they nailed it. It wasn't on my radar. I don't love that they numbered it, because if I couldn't get it, then I wouldn't feel like I had to chase it for the number, but I'm happy with the figure, and it's a lot of fun. They classified it up.
Yeah,
they did a nice job making it kind of modern. They'll do the same thing here. What do you think? Like how they handled Zartan here? I mean, those are Big Boa's pants. Or at least that's what it looks like to me. Big Boa's pants and boots.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like there's always that argument of, is Zartan wearing a hood or does Zartan have hair? So I think now the hair people can put some hair on him, right? A little pop and swap, and you can have your way with his hood or hair.
But they nailed the hair here.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
The character looks freaking fantastic. So Derek, we brought you on because we needed an expert on some of these instruments here. What do we got here for Zartan?
It looks like a BC Rich Warlock.
It's very specific.
That's definitely where the inspiration comes from, for sure. I know that because I was introduced to this bass when I, fell in love with Motley Crue in the 1982. Because they were, that's what Nicky Six played. He played a Warlock bass.
Nicky Six. Who thought we'd bring up Nicky Six today?
While talking about G.I. Joe.
I toured in California one time and almost met him in a gas station parking lot. I missed him by like 5 minutes. The band ahead of us got to hang out with him.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah.
But pretty amazing. So you're telling me this is the bass guitar. So Zartan is a bassist?
Yeah, he's playing the bass. He's pulling the Tom Araya for Slayer.
Nice.
Vocals and bass duty,
That's pretty impressive for the leader of the Dreadnoks. And he's a ninja. And he's a ninja too.
No, but the accuracy on this is great, man. Like a lot of toy companies, when they make instruments, really, really screw it up. But
well, I think most, and this is what's funny. You bring that up, right? And you look at the accuracy, but people will get upset if the and this is where you can come in, Bobby, but like if the gun is wrong, right? Or like half people say, who cares, it's pretend, and then other people are like, it's not accurate. Rah!
He's muted.
Mute it yourself.
Bounce the thing. I apologize. Yeah, you see it a lot, especially with the weapons, and it's like, where do you draw the line personally? So like me, I don't know anything about instruments, so we might see things different here. I'm like, oh yeah, I would have called it a guitar, and then you're like, oh, it's actually it's a bass, and that's that. So I think it just all depends on where each individual person draws the line, and that's just a never-ending argument or fight you're ever always going to have. So,
well, this is why I brought in an expert.
Yeah, that's I told you, I was like, I don't know anything about instruments. So,
No, I mean, it's funny because Derek popped right in my head. So we were able to meet and hang out at Joe Fest last year, and I think most of the time we hung out, we talked music, didn't we?
Yeah, and just general bullshit.
And then who do we have here?
Look at Ripper's hair.
That's Ripper,
Beautiful.
right?
That's
Dude
Ripper.
does not skip leg day.
No.
looks like pirate pants.
Yeah, for sure. What do you guys think here? How do you think they did him?
He looks great too.
Yeah, I saw someone post like a screen cap from the episode, and everyone looks like they're in their get up or garb. I think the only person that I mean, we've seen Metalhead with the Cold Slither on the armor he wears, and then I think there was a Cold Slither Zorana convention exclusive or chase back in the day for the modern era stuff. So I'm curious if we'll see any other Cold Slither references as we continue to move forward with the classified line.
Yeah. And then I like how they did the straps too, like it's color coordinates.
Yeah.
But what are we looking at here, Derek?
You got it's a flying V, but probably more because of the headstock. Headstock is up here.
Okay.
It looks more like a ESP LTD arrow because there's like a little swoop right where the fretboard meets the body on the underside, and not other flying Vs don't have that really. Other flying Vs.
So would you say this one is a little less accurate?
No, I'd say it's really accurate.
Oh, it's right on the money.
Schecter makes one that has that body shape too, but it has a different headstock. So,
okay. I think they're just what you said, Bobby. It kind of matches up with what we got in the episode.
Yeah, it's what it seems like. Everything looks pretty on it. I'm trying to pull up a picture right now to see if anyone has any specific.
Figures.
Yeah, the figures do.
The figures do. The instruments do not.
Yeah.
And even the instruments they gave certain people I think are off. So we could touch on that in a minute.
All right. Well, I think this is where we're going with that, right? So we got Torch.
Yep.
And somebody brought up Lemmy in the chat. So we've all been saying this, right? He looks like, well, I mean, Lemmy Motorhead would never wear this outfit.
No.
But definitely the mustache and the lamb chops or button chops. He looks the most cartoony of all of them, I think. But they still nailed it.
Yeah.
But is this the instrument you were talking about?
Well, yeah, keytar. I mean, he's got a keytar here for obvious reasons. Like they had a floor organ in the cartoon, but actually Buzzer played the floor organ, so they should have given Buzzer the keytar because he's the keys man.
Yeah. So who was on drums?
Ripper.
Ripper was on.
No, sorry, Ripper played the keyboard. Buzzer. Buzzer played.
I think I have some pictures from it, but I didn't know which orientation to put this in. So
yeah. It's actually the top one.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I doubled up, and I like how they have the flame effects on here.
Yeah.
Because it goes with Torch. And then what do you think of the accuracy here?
I mean, it looks like a keytar. I mean, you can't really miss on that one.
Wait, did Zartan even play anything in the cartoon?
I think he had a guitar because he was smashing it, wasn't he? And the guy was like, "We're going over budget," because they were smashing the instruments.
Yeah. Toy Optics says Ripper's on the keyboard and Torch was on guitar or bass. Yeah, Ripper was playing keyboard. All right, so I think a lot of these guys watch this episode today because I don't.
You can mix and match once you get them in hand. It doesn't matter.
And then what do we think here?
Crazy looking, but he looks great.
He does look great. I saw in one of the groups somebody said it reminded them of who was the X-Men that you had? Yeah,
the Build-A-Figure guy with the half tank body.
Yeah, I can kind of see that.
Yeah, I like the tassels on the top of the boots. I'm curious to see how we'll see those again, if we'll see those again.
Yeah. Derek, what do you think of this drum set here? I was able to get it on its own.
Yep.
It's not the best Photoshop, but what do you think here?
It's for a toy drum set. It is like perfect. Very well done. You got the rim to rim lugs going from top to bottom. You know, even the detail on the floor tom feet. I'll be interested to see if there's a bass drum kick pedal on the other side, but
yeah,
could use maybe another cymbal. But this is where we get into the picture that I sent you, because this is like a top achievement for if they're going off the cartoon.
Yeah. So this is the picture you're talking about.
Every shot of this drum set is different. There's not a single time that the drum set is shown where it is the same. Top right, it's got like 3 cymbals on the one side, 3 drums on the other one. Then you go over to the other one, it's got drums on the other side where they weren't before. And then it's got a whole mess of drums when he goes to chop it up that weren't there. You know, it's just, and then when Zartan is on the stage alone, what is that?
Well,
mini drum set.
It's called outsourcing. They outsource the animation, and not everybody was on the same page.
So you can see the floor organ with a
mass shifting drum set
with a Ripper playing it.
Yeah,
it looks like there's that Torch might be on the bass. We'd have to zoom in on that, but
yeah, I don't know how to do that. So maybe one day I'll learn how to do that. A lot of love for Monkey Wrench in here, but he wasn't even introduced yet when this episode came out. But yeah, they I don't know, they nailed the set. The set looks like it's so much fun. I know that a few people were bitching. Does it come with a seat?
But yeah, that's a good question too.
We can't tell from here. I would imagine that it would.
The throne would be nice.
Yeah. Yeah, throne would be amazing. 3D
I'll probably be trying to Macari a couple more cymbals maybe. But.
Yeah. Well, there's that Mafex or the Mezco, the band with the skeletons. Do you know what I'm talking about? That's a pretty cool drum set. But we also got this announced from Super 7, and this one is 3.75. They only showed Zartan, but it looks pretty close to what we're getting in Classified, except for the guitar is different.
The guitar is cartoon accurate.
Okay. Well, I think this is where this whole Super 7 O-ring thing is. It's all cartoon.
Yeah, I think their main goal, from how I understood it, was that it's to fill in the blanks that you have in your existing O-ring collection.
But the O-ring collection was its own thing, almost.
Like, yeah. But they seem to be doing like the Mass Device Slave, the giant guy, and then Duke with the Mind Control headband, the arcade game headband. So they seem to be pretty cartoon accurate moving forward.
Yeah, I mean, I have a Fatal Sorry right here. But yeah, it seems like they're focused on that. But here, if you see, it says it's got the UV color changing. which is awesome. I think that every Zartan needs to change color.
Mandatory.
It's mandatory, even though it was really just the first release, right? That did that.
I think so. Yeah. None of the ones in my era did it. So
yeah. And then what about if we got Gem? Would you guys be happy with
Gem?
that?
Doesn't Loyal Subjects have Gem, the licensing currently?
They very well might, but they're pretty close in scale, right?
I have no idea.
That would be truly outrageous.
Well done. But yeah, that would be a lot of fun, and it looks like we got back to the concert slides here, but I don't know, man. I was very pleasantly surprised today with this. I'm assuming the chat was as well. Punk's agreeing that Loyal Subjects has Gem and he spelled it wrong. But you're saying, Derek, you can live with or without it, but you're probably going to get it, right?
I'm going to get it. Yeah. I can't live without it. I need the number. I need the number.
Yeah.
I'm going to get it. I'm like Derek, I'm a completionist on top of it, but I'm a completionist. So I'm not going to say what I'm a completionist until they make that figure, because I know that someone's going to be like, because if I end up getting that figure, someone's like, oh, you said you weren't going to get that figure. So I'm not going to say what that figure is, but I'm definitely going to skip it if it ever comes out. But I'm a completionist until then. So
it would be sick. It'd be sick if they did it like the Dragonfly, individually boxed with a picture on the side, you know, Dragonfly figures.
And on the back, they could just make it like the stage. So you just put them all together facing backwards. If you open them, you can put all the figures in front of it.
Done.
That would be amazing. And that's where I think they kind of, there's a Star Wars set of figures, Expanded Universe, that came with a pop out, like little diorama. I think last May I did a video on one of them, and it's just like a lost art, and it's so easy. Like, I don't think there's much engineering that goes into it, and it reuses the box. So that I think that would be amazing if they were able to do it.
All the Joe vs. Cobra, I think up into Spy Troops, they all had like a piece of flat cardboard that was probably what 6x6. Okay. And it was like a scene of like a cabin in the snow, and there were lasers and explosions and stuff. It was just a flat piece, but you know, you could put it behind the figures, and as a kid, I loved it.
Yeah. And Derek, do you do 3D prints or no?
I just started.
Oh, you just started.
I'm working on a
thing.
Water moccasin.
Yeah, I could tell what it was right away. But yeah,
Mike, I got Mike for customer support.
Yeah, well, Bobby, his friend Mike that he's talking about did the Terror Drum.
Okay.
That big Terror Drum.
Yeah. That was amazing.
Yeah.
He would call me and be like, "Hey, can you come down and help me lift the top of the Terror Drum?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure."
And you guys knew each other since you were kids, right?
First grade.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we went all through school together, and then after high school, kind of, randomly ran into each other, lost touch. And during COVID, I was, going down the street to get some food. I was on the way back up to my house, and I look up, and there's a dude crossing my path with a launder basket. And I said, it was Mike. I was like, yo, what are you doing? He goes, I live here. I go, how long? He's like a year now. I go, I live right there, like 4 doors away from you. He's like, oh, Then we started talking, and he said he did 3D modeling, and I was like, what is that? He's like, I print toys, and he like hung his head. I was like, what are you ashamed about printing toys for? You know who I am, right? I still collect toys. So then we got to talking about G.I. Joe, and he brought me in and showed me the vehicles he was printing, and then I brought him down to my house and showed him all my nonsense, and kicked in the door on my girlfriend who wasn't ready for a visitor. Here's one of my oldest friends. Sorry, this is how you have to meet him. Hanging around the house in your pajamas.
Well, that's how the stories go, right?
Yeah.
Well, listen, that was pretty much it. I think we got everything. It just threw me off today, so I'm surprised that this even happened. I appreciate you guys coming on last minute and giving me your concert choices, and I'm definitely getting the set. Bobby, maybe you can tell us what that character or figure is backstage or something.
Can you?
But no, I appreciate everybody jumping in here and giving us some of your bands and concerts and everything. And there's not much to this. You guys know I just end the stream when it's over. So, Derek, thanks again for jumping in and giving us your
man. Absolutely. Thanks for asking me.
And just hang back, because I hit the end button and I hit it, and I already hit it, and it's still